Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be doing one last update for this big storm that is moving up the East Coast throughout the day today. We have a lot of severe weather, a lot of snowfall going on, and a lot of flooding and damaging winds as well expected throughout the day today. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting store in the description and the pinned comment down below, and then also our very exciting Patreon page. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, considering Christmas Day is tomorrow, that makes today Christmas Eve, so happy Christmas Eve. I want to know, what are some not so common traditions that your family does around Christmas time? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get right into this video, and first things first, I wanted to take a look at those temperatures on the ground. This is our HRRR model, and this one is a very high resolution model, so we're going to be able to see that cold front very, very vividly here. This is early this morning, and as you can see, it's very clearly located there along Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, down through some of the Gulf states. Now as we move on towards about 1 p.m., you can see it has moved further and further east. Those lighter blues there for Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, that's areas that are below 40 degrees, and those oranges there for the southeast coast, that's areas that are above 70 degrees or around 70 degrees. So that is a massive, massive difference, and that's why we're taking a look at a big threat for severe weather today, and that's going to last pretty much through the evening tonight. All right, and as we move towards about maybe 12 a.m. tonight, so heading into Christmas Eve night into Christmas Day, you can see that cold front has reached basically the very, very east coast there, and likely we're seeing thunderstorms along the east coast with that cold front. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at that simulated radar, take a look at the severe weather threat according to our NAM model and our HRRR model, and then we're going to move on to talk about that big snowstorm as well. Alright, now here we are taking a look at what the simulated radar could look like by about 1 p.m. here on today, well, Christmas Eve, Thursday. And as you can see, we have plenty of precipitation there for the Gulf states up through the Appalachian Mountains. That is our cold front there. We have some precipitation moving out in front of it. The precipitation out in front of it, I think, will be in the form of supercells, and that is our biggest tornado threat throughout the day today. There is some snow beginning out there further west as well. Again, here's those actual temperatures, and it's very sufficient down here for Southeast Virginia, Eastern North Carolina, Eastern South Carolina, 60s and even some 70s. That's going to be good enough. That's going to be warm enough for plenty of severe weather to occur. Here's those dew points, and as you can see, lower to middle 60s. That is definitely good enough. We consider that to be sufficient for severe weather as well. And actually, as you can see, as we head towards a little bit later in the evening tonight, this might be about 10 p.m., those dew points get even higher right in front of that cold front coming through. We see middle 60s there in the dew points, so definitely high enough for severe weather. As we take a look at that cape, actually, it's quite low. We have maybe 100s, maybe 500 to 700 there in some of those green shades for Eastern North Carolina. None really over 1,000 though, for onshore at least. But yesterday the model said the same thing, and we saw plenty of 1,000 plus amounts of cape. So if this is more cape than we're suspecting later on in the day today, then it will be even worse severe weather than we're expecting likely as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at a few more implications for the severe weather, including the simulated radar, and then we're going to get right into that snowstorm. Now, here we are taking a look at that shear, and this is definitely very high shear, and this is why we have a big tornado threat throughout the day today. We see this in the wintertime a lot, where there's more shear available. We see these big tornado outbreaks. I don't really know if today will be an outbreak or not, but it's definitely not outside of possibilities. Let's just take a look at that simulated radar. This is maybe by about 7 p.m. On Thursday here. So as you can see, there's a very clear line of thunderstorms there in Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, pretty much in the middle portion of those states. That is our squall line or our cold front, cold temperatures behind that, obviously. Out in front of it, though, you can see even some heavier thunderstorms with those deeper greens indicating very heavy precipitation. That is those supercells out in front of it. So it's going to be a 1-2 punch. We're going to get the supercells and then a bad squall line that comes through after, both having a chance of producing severe weather. Here's by about maybe 10 p.m. here on Thursday. Again, December 24th today, Christmas Eve. As you can see, those supercells are coming to an end for very far eastern Virginia and North Carolina. That squall line is actually intensifying by that point, and it'll eventually move offshore of the East Coast, bringing some wind threat, some tornado threat with it, and then again, cold temperatures behind it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to start talking about that snowstorm on our 3km NAM, our high-resolution model that did very, very well for our previous snowstorm. And then actually we're going to talk about the actual categorical outlook, the tornado chances, and we're going to actually have a snowfall forecast here from Direct Weather for that snowstorm as well to close out the video. All right, now here we are taking a look again at that simulated radar here. According to our NAM 3km model, for the snowstorm, and you can see there's plenty of pinks and oranges. That is our ice and sleet going on. This is going to be a messy storm, especially in the beginning. This is maybe about 10 p.m. on Thursday today, so heading into the evening tonight. We see some moderate to heavy snowfall west of the ice. So as you can see, it's pretty scattered throughout Georgia potentially. Then we can see through Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio. Definitely seeing some accumulating snowfall throughout the day today for those regions. Let's just take it to about maybe, I would say this is probably about 4 or 5 a.m. here on Christmas morning. So again, I've been saying this for days. This is probably when the kids are waking up for Christmas. So we are seeing still some of that heavier rainfall going on for the East Coast. That is going to move out quickly, actually. And the cold is going to move in shortly after that time frame. And then we see some moderate to heavy snowfall going on still for Virginia, West Virginia, Ohio, and Pennsylvania there as well, with still some ice going on. Let's take it to about the afternoon hour there of Christmas Day. And as you can see, we do see some lake effect snow and some snow showers around, but really the worst of the severe weather and the worst of the snow has completely moved out by this point. We will see a rain in New England for Christmas Day, so we're going to see some pretty steady rainfall for you guys with some flooding risk, but really the severe implications of most of the severe weather is going to be done by this point. Let's take a look at the modeled snowfall guidance here real quick. As you can see, this is our European model, which didn't do so good with that very major snowstorm we had just about a week ago. But here we are taking a look. In those grays, we have a dusting, if anything. In the blues, we have a couple of inches to about 6 inches. In the purples, we have about 6 to 10 inches. And in those pinks, that's where we're at about 10 inches plus. Keep in mind, those pinks are pretty exclusive for nearby the lakes. That's because the lake effect snow is what's going to increase those amounts around the lakes. We will see some lake enhancement and some lake effect snow afterwards that is going to lead to more snowfall there. All right, now here's our NAM 3km model, which nailed that major snowstorm we just talked about. And it actually looks quite similar to the European model, just higher resolution, so it's good to see the agreement there. Some of the higher elevation areas for Tennessee and North Carolina, as well as Virginia, and then even West Virginia are seeing generally the 6 to 10 inch amounts. And then again, by the lakes in Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, they are seeing the 10 inches plus, potentially upwards of 15 inches plus nearby the lakes. And then finally, here's my favorite model, the RGEM model, and as you can see, it has pretty widespread amounts of 6 to 10 inches from Kentucky up through West Virginia and then Ohio. And then again, it does have those 10 inch plus amounts nearby Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. Again, very close to those lakes is where we're seeing the most snowfall according to the RGEM model as well. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to finally take a look at the Storm Prediction Center's forecast for the severe weather going on today, and then also our direct weather snowfall forecast for that snowstorm, all coming up in just a moment. Now here we are taking a look at that categorical outlook here from the Storm Prediction Center. In the lighter greens is where we have a general thunderstorm risk. Not really any severe weather expected. It is certainly possible. Very, very slight risk there. The marginal risk is where you start to see some severe weather implications. Very, very isolated throughout that dark green region. The yellow area is our slight risk, and you start to see some scattered areas of severe weather within that. And then the enhanced risk, which has just been added just yesterday, is where we expect some pretty widespread severe weather to be possible and some very nasty storms. So we're going to be really watching that area. That's where we have the highest chance for tornadoes, and that's also why they upgraded it to a enhanced risk. So first off, I wanted to mention before we take a look at the wind outlook, there is a under 5% chance on the hail outlook, so we're not going to be showing that because there's such a low chance. There's low CAPE, that typically means low chance for hail. There's a direct correlation there oftentimes. Let's take a look at that wind risk, and keep in mind these percentages are based off of within 25 miles of a given location. So for instance, the green area is 5%, so that's 5% chance of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given location. The yellow area is 15% chance of damaging wind within 25 miles of a given location. But still, that is only a slight risk of wind. It's this tornado risk that we're taking a look at now that has an enhanced risk. Within the green, you have 2% chance of seeing a tornado within 25 miles of a given location. In the brown, we have 5% chance of seeing a tornado within 25 miles of a given location. And then within the yellow, we have 10% chance of seeing tornadoes within 25 miles of a given location, which again is considered an enhanced risk of tornadoes. We're going to be watching that closely. Again, I want to reiterate the fact there is going to be supercells in front of that squall line that comes through, but that squall line is going to come through, and also there could be rotation along the squall line. So there is going to be two separate chances of tornadoes within this area. There's a pretty decent chance. This is high for this region, actually, especially Virginia and North Carolina, and especially considering the time of year. So please, please, please be careful and be mindful throughout the day today. I know it's Christmas Eve and people want to spend time with their families and just having a good time. But really, I want you to be paying attention to the radar, paying attention to weather alerts throughout the day. I know it can be annoying, but it's going to be worth it to be safe for sure. Let's take a look at the total snowfall map according to us here at Direct Weather. And first things first, this is our dusting to 3-inch region here in the white. So from Tennessee up through portions of the Smoky Mountains, so North Carolina and Tennessee there, up through Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and then up through portions of the, Finger Lakes regions of New York there in the nearby the Great Lakes. We're expecting a dusting to 3 inches of snow. Then here's our 3 to 6 inch region, and this extends from the Smoky Mountains all the way up through Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. Again, very close to those lakes. Here's our 6 to 10 inch region, and you can see I have separate regions. One for the Smoky Mountains, that's generally higher elevations than surrounding regions. West Virginia, especially the mountainous regions there in the very eastern portion of West Virginia. And then you can see nearby the lakes. So for Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, and then even up there by the Tug Hill as well, I expect 6 to 10 inches to be possible. And then I have 2 separate regions of 10 to 15 inches, again by the Tug Hill. And then also there for Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York, I expect 10 to 15 inches to be possible. And then finally, here is it all put together. Once we take a look at all the amounts on the screen. So if that was confusing at any point, there it is with all the amounts still on the screen. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let's get right into the comment of the day. I asked you guys, how do you expect the month of January that's upcoming to go? And Silent Cryptid said, I'm seeing a very active pattern for January, similar to the winter of 2010 to 2011, and even the months after. And I definitely agree. This year has certainly turned out to look a lot like 2010 to 2011 so far. So I do anticipate January looks very cold and very snowy, at least as of right now. My final, obviously, like my official January forecast will be out in about a week, where I'll give my official thoughts. But for now, it appears the AO is going to be very far negative. It appears the NAO is going to be very far negative. The PNA looks to be positive. And we do see that polar vortex breaking up as we speak right now. All signs are pointing towards very, very cold and very, very snowy for the earlier portion of January. You might have seen some reports of some forecasts saying the opposite. And the one thing I wanted to say is that those forecasts came out before we really saw the signs that the NAO, the AO was going to be very far negative and the PNA was going to be positive. I suspect that the Climate Prediction Center is going to come out with a forecast for a cold January by the time we're taking a look at the 1st of January and they update that. That is what I think they're going to do if they're seeing what I'm seeing. Anyway, that was a good comment of the day. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Sebastian Tao, John Bembenek, Justin Quantrell, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Balemo, Adam S., Larry LePan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aiden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Terry Curtis, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Alicia Davis, and Mark J. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and being patrons. If you would like to end up on this Patreon end screen, you can do so by joining our very, very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.